How are we doing, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at some of the triad structures that Cliff Gallup used in his solos. It was very evident. I'm not extrapolating. I promise this stuff was really there. And what you'll find is if you learn some basic triad shapes, and with a little bit of a nudge from what I'm trying to tell you today, hopefully you can come up with some licks and have some touch points to work from to build your ideas from. And that's really what these triads are super useful for. So there's two shapes that we're going to look at today. There's this one. Okay, you could also think of it as with the B flat at the bottom as well. Okay, so we're doing it in B flat, and the reason I wanted to do that is it's not so much about notes. We're really working off shapes here. Which, even though I'm a very studied player and teacher and educator and all that stuff, I'm totally okay with that kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with it. If you can make some great sounding ideas with any concepts, it really doesn't matter. So yes, it's B flat, but we're not going to be worrying about the notes and the fact that that's not the easiest key compared with C or A or D, all the keys we're familiar with. So we've got the B flat, we've got that one there, and it's a triad because we're only using 3 notes. Yes, I'm playing it across 4 strings, but it is a B flat, D, F, and B flat. Okay. Again, notes aren't actually important, just the fact that I'm calling it a triad. Okay, we don't want any trolls having any room for criticism, which is almost impossible. But anyway, the other shape that we're going to use, we're going to come up to the 10th fret, and we're going to play this one. Okay, so you would be familiar with that as a D chord. You would have played it back here as a D chord. We can also add this note. Okay, or you would have seen, I'll just put it on the chart the first time anyway. Okay. So again, it's 3 notes. We've just doubled up on the D, which is at the bottom and the top, okay? But it's a triad because it's 3 notes. We're really just looking at 3 notes. So, but I like to add that 4th string because a lot of licks sort of take off from there, so it's quite useful. And that's the point that I want to get at today, is that those notes, okay, if we looked at that first one again, okay, just watch me play this little lick here. Okay, I've got really good touch points here that I know how they sound. I know that they're relevant to B flat, okay? So if I work on ideas off of those, I've got something to work from. I'm not completely taking a stab in the dark. So maybe I want to go. Okay, my fingers and my brain, my ears, the whole lot will start to comprehend what happens when I make certain movements away from those notes. Okay. Now, again, this isn't going to be the most in-depth lesson. It's just me showing you those triads and showing you some little ideas around them without breaking them down for you necessarily. But the idea is you take that concept away. You go, okay, well, there's a little spot there. What can I do around that I like the sound of? Okay, or if you happen to go away and work on some licks by Cliff Gallup or anyone, you'll see these concepts at play. So it's really about the core foundational idea of the triad. Now, if we go up, okay, 2 frets and then another 2 frets or 2 tones, we get to our next point that we can really utilize, and that is the D one. So they are completely related. They are the same set of notes. And that's why this is really useful, because if we're soloing over a chord, we want to have different ideas in different parts of the neck. But if we have, again, those, you know, sort of, what would you call them? Like, I think in Australia we call them buoys, and in America they call them buoys. It's like a buoy, okay? They're like little buoys across the fretboard. So you've got the 12th fret, the 10th fret, the 11th fret, and the 10th fret, and that's bringing us the same set of notes to work off as well. So now we can experiment. Okay. Oh, do I like that? Do I not like that? Do I, put on a B flat chord? And maybe I want that note there. That's kind of got a different vibe. Or maybe I want, oh, I don't like that note. See, this is what's really good about it. Now I'm starting to like that note, okay? So if I come back to soloing on that and I want that really kooky, in-your-face note, I know where it is. It's just, in relation to that chord, it's like in line with my 3rd finger. Okay, so that actually takes us to the next point. When you've found some ideas that you like there, you can actually kind of work your way down to ideas that you like down here as well. And I kind of do this, you know, this stuff sort of evolved for me by just noodling at it, you know, and I'd almost encourage the same thing. Go away and learn solos, of course, but, you know, try mucking around with the concept of, okay, well, I've got a triad here, and I've got a triad here. How can I get between them? Okay, you'll find your little ways that you like to do it. I have my ways, you'll find your ways, okay? You probably have noticed, if you hang around my channel, I'm really big on, you know, I do note-for-note transcriptions, absolutely, because I do think it's a really important part of learning, but I'm also really big on giving you the tools to just come up with your own ideas and your own solos. So, you know, another idea is like, the notes themselves, the triad themselves, is a lick, and it's a arpeggio, for example, and then I could walk chromatically down, and I can walk into ideas that fit in up there, okay? Now, you might be thinking, hey, that's not great guidance, you're kind of just throwing stuff at me, but this is music, this is not physics, okay? This is not science, we're not putting parts on a racing car. So, there are lessons where I'll give you very specific things. This is not one of them. This is a very conceptual one where I'm wanting to sort of go, hey, check out this concept. So you just learned those two arpeggios, the two triads, okay, triad chord shapes that I've taught you today. Work out how they relate to each other, and then work out some notes around them that you like the sound of. Now, the only other thing you really want to do is figure out how to move them with chords. So if we are in B flat, we're also going to get an E flat, okay? That'll be your 4 chord. Okay, in the blues, for example, and then our 1 chord, it's the B flat again. So where would it go for the E flat? To be here, and our bottom note, and then up 2 tones. Okay, that's getting a little high on the guitar. Let's just bring it back. So that's on the 17th fret. Let's just drop it 12 frets. Okay. Okay, just like that. Now, I made a video called Playing the Changes where I go through some exercises that are much more specific, okay? So go check that video out if you're enjoying this. It really gets into a lot more detail. I don't just touch on the concept. I give you licks and ideas, and it's quite full on. In my Rockabilly Rebuild course, I use similar concepts, but we really get into it. Like, you know, each module's like 20 minutes. So this video will probably end up being 10, and we're just covering a little bit. So there's 5 modules in the Rockabilly Rebuild one. Anyway, enough about that. So, you know, here's the E flat, right? Here and here. Okay, now they might be hard to connect together. They're a long way apart, and there are other triads, so we're not really going to worry about that one too much today. You sort of do what you can. But the good news is on the F, on the 5 chord, okay, we've got this guy here, and move it up to 2 positions, or 2 tones, I should say. So try to make the connection with your first inversion and your second inversion. Try and see if you can play it over the different chords, even in a really simple format, and then see if you can develop them into some licks of your own. That's the end of the lesson, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. Make sure you hit subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I've got the website with the courses. The website's really about the courses, but there is an option if you just want a platform that's straight transcriptions. That's really good there. Or you can join the YouTube thread. And I know it's crazy. There's so many different things out there now, but that's what it's like these days, trying to make a living doing all of this music stuff with all the insane costs. I've got my hands and feet in various pies to make it all work. But I really appreciate all the support. You guys are making it work. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.